Hello, podcast putter upper with her. This is JJ, and I'm so glad that you could be here because I'm going to tell you about some movies that I wish that you would watch. We're going to talk about a raccoon mascot and Tucker. He's here for the ride. Enjoy this episode of 501. It's JJ Meets World. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. JJ Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is. He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. JJ has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled and he's fun and then he twirls as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called JJ Meets World.
All right, check. Oh, we're looking good. We're looking good. Okay.
Checking 1, 2. Checking 1, 2. Checking 1, 2. Checking 1.
Check. What if the whole episode is just us going, check dentistry.
Yeah. Myocardial infarction.
Amnesty. The whale got amnesty.
Rutabagas in my shoelaces.
To sit in solemn silence on a dull, dark dock. Okay, here we go. For realsies. Shut up. Tucker, welcome to episode 501.
Nice to be here.
We did it. We're to 501.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone loves an anniversary, but no one loves it. Like your 30th birthday, milestone. 31,
because it wasn't technically the year 2000, still the 20th century, and it wasn't the 21st century until 2001.
Was that true?
I believe that's the case. I believe the actual new millennium began in 2001. I remember that being a trivia piece at the time.
That blows my mind. It makes sense.
Case. I might be wrong, but it's like, yeah, it's the one after is actually the first one.
It's sort of like saying, oh, what did you do on Friday night? But technically it's Saturday morning, the second that
because it doesn't start at year 0, right? Yeah. It starts at year 1, I think. I think it's 1 and then 1.
I don't know enough about the Gregorian calendar.
I think it's -1 before Caesar, and then it's +1 after dogs.
Yeah, that makes actually more sense to me. Cleopatra. So I wanted to talk to you about some movies that don't get enough acclaim, but maybe are guilty pleasures, maybe are those ones that just need more attention from people. And I had a really great conversation on the set of the film that you're working on right now about the movie Clifford with Martin Short and Charles Grodin. And I saw Clifford when it was on VHS, and I brought it home because it has a picture of Martin Short leaning down by like a dog house, and then there's Charles Grodin and Mary Steenburgen behind. I love that movie. Not only do I think that movie is perfect, but one of the villains in it is Dabney Coleman. And Dabney Coleman can do anything. He's great in 9 to 5. He's great in this. He's great in in The Muppets Take Manhattan. He plays a guy who's a scam artist, and they come in and they're pitching their musical, and he goes, stop right there. It's great. It's going to be perfect. All I need is a standard, like $500. They're like, $500 a piece. A piece? And he goes, this is how productions get made. Then this old woman comes in and she goes, that's him, officer. That's him. And then he clearly is caught, like being a scam artist, and he grabs Gonzo by the nose and Camilla. And so he's got the chicken and he's got Gonzo. It's fantastic. And then he's on his way out, and Animal goes, bad man. And then they chase him down the hall, and Animal has bit him on the bottom.
And you're saying that Clifford doesn't get enough. Or no, Clifford
doesn't get enough attention.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know the premise, Martin Short plays a 10-year-old boy. And to do that, they have people stand on like milk cartons during the entire production, so they look taller than he is, but he's a small guy already, and he's a weird 10-year-old kid, and he's obsessed with dinosaurs, and he wants to go to a place called Dinosaur Land, which is a theme park in Los Angeles. He and his parents I don't know who plays his mom, but his dad is played by Richard Kind, who only operates at like a 25 the entire time that he's on screen. So every time you see him, he's like, "Go, I'm gonna kill you." It's a master class. Like, he does everything through gritted teeth, and he forces a plane to land in Los Angeles, even though they're on their way to Hawaii. And Charles Grodin plays his uncle, who he hasn't seen since he was a little boy. And then it's a series of just absolute garbage.
Yeah, I'm allergic to that movie Clifford.
Apparently you are.
Goodness.
It's so good. It's got all this dinosaur stuff. So Clifford is a movie that doesn't get enough acclaim. And so I was talking to someone on your crew, and he came to set, and he was like, yeah, I watched the movie Clifford. And he goes, yeah, that movie doesn't get enough acclaim. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That premise is sweaty, and it's so good. I read a great interview with Martin Short where someone from Maxim magazine was calling him out for like, yeah, but not every movie you make is great. Every now and then you get a Clifford, right? And Martin Short stops the interview and goes, if you go to any dorm in the country, I guarantee you're going to find 5 copies of the movie Clifford. And he's not wrong. In fact, he's very right. So I thought that was a nice little moment, but it made me think about this. I never would have watched that movie if I hadn't been walking up and down the aisles of Take-Two Video, and so many of my favorite guilty pleasures are because of finding that out. And the algorithms that you get on these streaming services, and the fact that they want you to watch something. Like, for example, we have an acquaintance who is part of a television show that just premiered on Paramount Plus. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, if you wouldn't mind getting Paramount Plus, even if you get the trial, but going immediately and watching this show. So it looks like, oh, a bunch of people got Paramount Plus and immediately watched this. So that's good. I never thought about that.
Yep.
Of course that would have extra weight.
We really should have said that for AJ Goes to the Dog Park. Like, please go. It's on Amazon. Like, just have it play. Just have it play. You don't have to watch it again.
Yeah.
Just give us a playthrough because it helps. It helps.
Which is just amazing to me.
It is a weird. It's I wonder how long that lasts for, because you would think that could be easy to gamify too at some point, right? I guess you'd have to go new signups, so you're actually getting in people's information and stuff like that, even if they are doing the trial.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that would be pretty sweet.
Nice.
I have never seen Clifford. Was Clifford ever released on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got it. It's one of those Blu-rays, though, that you could buy at the hardware store.
Right.
In the $5 Blu-ray bin.
Where it's like they just sort of like, no, it's still the SD version, but they just like made it bigger or something like that.
And they're like, it now features the trailer.
They're not going to do a 4K restoration of Clifford at some point. But you got to think, I mean, there is a 35 millimeter print out there.
I wouldn't be surprised if this movie and the cult following that it does have ends up getting some kind of deal at some point.
I think that might be one of the signs that a movie is underappreciated, in that it hasn't been released since DVD.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how many are out there still, because I know, really cheap upgrade passes for Blu-ray are not that hard to do. But there's got to be a bunch of stuff out there that, for whatever reason, they just haven't been able to make the case to do a remaster.
Stephen Tobolowsky was just in town, and I was talking with his wife, Anne, and she was telling me about... So this movie came out, Stephen Tobolowsky's birthday party. And what it is it follows Stephen on one day from dawn until the end of the day. And he's just telling stories from his life the whole time that they're with him, right? And the trailer for it is taken at some kind of maybe like festival, like at the Cannes Film Festival. Or no, it probably more like... he's like in Park City or something, because he's wearing this big furry white hat and stuff. And he goes, do you know who Stephen Tobolowsky is? And someone goes, isn't he a race car driver? And there's a series of people not knowing who he is, right? So Anne's telling me, she goes, well, we had boxes and boxes and boxes of this DVD made, thinking we will sell them. And when Stephen does personal appearances, she goes, but what we didn't realize was DVD was ready to die at that point. Like, not only had people moved on to Blu-ray, she was like, but now people just don't have players, and they're not even building them into computers anymore.
Yep.
And so she goes, so we still have boxes and boxes of these. And she goes, like, we only sold like 50. And I said, you know what's ironic? I'm one of those people you sold one of those 50 to. I said, that is my first piece of signed Tobolowsky merchandise was to JJ, thanks, Stephen Tobolowsky. And I went to go find it, and I could not figure out where I had kept it. And I wish I had, because I would have made him sign it again, 15 years later after I bought my first copy.
Do you think you'll ever do I know you have you have a lot of signed memorabilia.
Yeah.
And I would think that you would have I know there's no hallway to put it in your house, but some kind of wall or something where it's JJ's brush with celebrity. Oh,
you know what? I've started pooling together pictures of me with celebrities, because some of them exist all over the place. So I only see the picture I have with Paul Rudd once a year when it shows up on my Facebook memories, right? And so I was like, I should find all these and put them together and at least print them out, right? Because I would like a wall of, pictures of me. And I look awful in some of those pictures, and I look good in some of them. The night that I was at IO's 25th anniversary was a great one, because it's me with Andy Richter and Amy Poehler. The list goes on and on and on. The only two people I didn't get that night were Andy Dick and Mike Myers, who were both being pretty prima donna-ish.
Really?
And we see how those careers have panned out.
Yeah, Andy Dick's not doing too well these days.
He's not.
He's not doing too well. So after Clifford, what's another film that you think is not getting the love it deserves?
Now, this one actually was recently remade. So you might say, well, that's getting some attention. I think it's just they own the IP, and they're like, we're going to do this. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is from 1992, and it is about a woman whose husband is molesting his patients, and one patient steps forward and says, I was being molested, and then he takes his own life, and then his wife decides that she's going to get revenge on this woman by pretending to be someone she's not, being the nanny for her family, and making the daughter love her.
So her husband, who is molesting people, he kills himself?
He kills himself.
Okay, and so she's going to avenge her molester husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
And take from this woman what she feels has been taken from her.
Got it.
It is delightful. Also, one of Julianne Moore's first roles. And she's I'm not going to give too much away, but she finds a very grisly demise in it.
I was going to say that sounds really dark. It sounds so dark. It sounds like the main character isn't someone you'd be rooting for.
Well, and really,
or is the main character the victim?
The victim.
Oh, okay.
So you follow Claire for most of it, but the woman who's playing Dr. Mont's widow is Rebecca de Mornay, and you cannot take your eyes off of Rebecca de Mornay in this. Also in this, Ernie Hudson.
Ooh, okay.
Now this didn't exactly age well. He plays someone who has different abilities, and that has not it's not great. Although it does show him in this really great light. And at one point, there's a part where Rebecca de Mornay's character becomes unforgivable after she does something to Ernie Hudson. And I remember when Ernie Hudson came to the Fargo Theater, and we were not there. We were in. Were you with me?
I remember Ernie Hudson being at the theater.
Okay, so I wasn't there. I think I was somewhere else when Ernie came to the theater, because I had him sign a picture of me that said I know who I'm going to call JJ Busters, to my favorite Stay Puffed, Ernie Hudson. And that was great. That was really great that you guys got that signed for me like that. But that was one of the things is, I think I was talking to Prairie, and she was like, well, do you want me to tell him anything? I'm like, yeah, tell him I love the movie The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I watch it all the time. And so The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, it kind of has this low key, it's not huge, but it's known enough. And they recently remade it, and I haven't watched the remake yet, but people are like, yeah, this movie is a remake in name only at this point. Okay. So that's another one. Would you like me to serve up another piece of tasty?
Let's do number 3.
Now, here's the thing about number 3. This is a movie that actually is incredibly popular with children, but adults should be giving it a chance, because it's got way more adult stuff than you would imagine. It's called Mouse Hunt.
Oh, yes. I have seen Mouse Hunt.
So Mouse Hunt as an adult, here's the premise. It's Nathan Lane and Lee Evans, and they inherit this. Well, actually, let's be more specific. their father makes string, has a string factory, and Nathan Lane wants nothing to do with his dead dad's string factory. Lee Evans is hoping to like make the string factory profitable, and the dad dies, and they say the only thing that their dad really had other than the factory was this old house. So they see this old house and they decide they're going to do some fix-ups, but there's really no point. And then all of a sudden they find out that it is the lost LaRue, this designer. And so this thing could go for $10 million at auction, right? Like it's a huge thing. But there's a mouse that lives in the house. And it's the mouse's house more than it's their house. And so all the stuff that they do to try and renovate and then get it. Christopher Walken,
Loved his cameo.
Amazing role for
Huge
Christopher
cameo,
Walken.
awesome cameo. Eating mouse turds.
Yeah, and then like analyzing it and be like, adolescent eats too much dairy, slightly stressed. It's just a really great movie, and Gore Verbinski is the one who directs that, and it's just a couple years after this that he ends up doing the Pirates of the Caribbean series. I think that this movie is, first of all, there is so much adult humor in this that is lost on children, but makes it really fantastic for adults. And Nathan Lane gives a fantastic performance. And he and Lee Evans have a great chemistry about these two brothers who could not be farther apart, but being brought back together. It also has one of my favorite gags of all time when you see like a portrait of something and then something salacious happens in front of it and it cuts back to the portrait and it's like making like a different face, like it's got shocked eyes or something like that. What a great little gag, right? Mouse Hunt, definitely one of those movies. And for whatever reason, they play it a lot around Christmas, and it's set during the winter, but I don't think it's necessarily set at Christmas time.
This conversation is really making me miss video rental stores.
Doesn't it?
It really is. I don't have any streaming accounts. So, I mean, I shouldn't say that. That's not true. At the moment, I have Amazon Prime, so I could go onto Prime streaming. But I never like go on and just go, what's this? Oh, let's take a look at this. The experience of it doesn't make me want to just browse and pick something.
This is an interesting fact for you. So this last week on the radio, I was talking about the closing of Jade Presents. And I brought up the fact that like the only person I ever really, really liked there was Steve Hanson. And I talked about that, and our text club flooded with people sharing great memories about Steve. About he was at every event, and he was there first, and he was stayed until he was the last person. He put up posters and all these types of things. So I talk about that, and then I go to preach at my wife's church, and one of the parishioners comes up and he goes, "I kept Steve Hanson's obituary, and I still have it."
Wow.
I'm like, "Oh, were you a friend of his?" He goes, "No." But they, like Steve's sister, who wrote the obituary, talks about the level of care that he received when he, after he'd had his heart failure, and calls out the hospital system.
Really?
And he goes, "I remember reading that, and I have kept it to this point of where, I think he said it reads as if he had been tortured to death."
Wow. Holy
and
shit.
I thought, well, that's interesting. So even someone that Steve never interacted with is still having, a place. I was kind of dumbfounded by that, if I'm going to be honest.
Steve. I worked with Steve back at Videoland back in the day. My first job out of high school, and Steve was the guy who introduced me to Gigi Allen and Neil Hamburger, and all these other like non-mainstream at all. This was pre-YouTube, right? This was pre being able to find this stuff anywhere on the internet. So he was one of those guys that just had his finger on the pulse of music and pop culture, and was always in possession of, VHS tapes of a band's performance in Syracuse.
Right, like
a
weird bootleg of some kind.
Anything you wanted to find. And he was, one of those guys was really, really passionate about it and was really awesome about spreading the love, spreading the knowledge. So I'm grateful to him for that. That's my only person through Jade Presents I would have ever known, even though I didn't know him through Jade.
I knew other people over the years, but no one really, I didn't get to know them as well as I got to know Steve.
It's weird, even though I never met Jade, and I'm sure I've gone to one or two shows that he brought into town, but the fact that they've declared bankruptcy and that it's out of business is weird to me because it's been such a fixture in the local thing, right? A lot of fixtures locally are going away. Like my elementary school is going away and Jade is going bankrupt. We just had an election, which was feels like a generational election almost for Fargo because it's a very different direction for the city than has happened before. It's all this is making me feel older, a lot older.
Hey, have you seen that downtown Fargo is trying to give itself a mascot?
No.
Okay, so
What is it? Is it like a guy sleeping on a park bench talking about presidents?
Not far off. It's an anthropomorphic raccoon that's wearing a backpack and it's got sneakers.
See, that communicates, there must be food lying out and raccoons are coming into downtown.
So
Why a raccoon?
Right. And so we were talking about it on the show and I said, I understand that you want a mascot because then you got something you can put on things. And probably at one point, the people who actually own the rights to the Fargo Theater marquee are going to be like, pump the brakes here. You can't always be using that. And now you got something that can walk around and high five kids, right?
I still wish that they had actually gotten their rears in gear and we could have made that downtown musical that I pitched them.
I know, right?
That would have killed.
One of the things that people kept texting in was I said, like, it looks weird. Like, why would you want something that's known for eating garbage to be the thing? It's like if this were a forest campsite, I understand you get a raccoon. I've never seen a raccoon in downtown Fargo.
Right.
And it's supposed to be like, it's nightlife, but it also looks like a kid. And so people started texting in, that mascot looks like it's always vaping and knows more about vinyl than you do.
I'm trying to think what I would pick. Like, what would be a good mascot? I'm trying to think of one. I mean, I know this wouldn't work, but for some reason I'm seeing an ice cream cone.
For downtown
Fargo. I don't know why.
Like a walk and talk and ice cream cone?
Let's go treat ourselves. Let's go to downtown or something like that. But
they don't want you to think of it as a treat. They want you to think of it as an everyday.
The blush is off the rose with downtown.
It really is.
At this point.
It is.
I really would.
And not for lack of trying.
They
by
don't
many
need
things.
to brand it. What do they need to brand? It's
I know,
popular.
it's downtown.
People go there all the time.
It's like, listen, you got a Renaissance zone. You're not paying property taxes.
It's like,
don't worry about it.
This raccoon is not going to help you sell more of these unsold massive these tiny apartments that cost, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Now, that being said, they certainly are like you can buy a T-shirt with it, and they're like, it's the new It's got a picture of it holding a corn dog for like the 50th annual downtown street fair. And I'm like, so this trash panda stole someone's corn dog out of the garbage and it's running away with it. And it's going to go devour it. Also, I was just trying to think, like, at one point you're going to have to give it a voice.
Yeah.
And, like, you look at it.
Hey, guys, come on down to downtown Fargo.
It's also not like ultra slim. Like, it's pudgy.
Right. He's well fed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's got a big... bottom.
I'm gonna look this up.
Please do.
This has to be online, right?
Also, that being said, I can't believe we haven't talked about this. Have we talked about the logo that Country Hearth Bread is using now?
I didn't know they changed it.
Well, I didn't. Well, let me put it this way. Country Hearth Bread decided that what they really need right now was a mascot, and a mascot that would be more appealing to children, right? And something that could really sell how fun it is to eat bread. And they came up with a character whose name is Loafy. And Loafy loves bread. And Loafy also is really great about sitting on the side of their giant semi-trucks and letting people know about how great bread is. Now, here's the downside of Loafy. Loafy looks like he is tweaked out of his gourd. Like, he looks like he is so high. But to make matters even worse about Loafy, which, by the way, here's a picture of Loafy. He's a piece of bread with like stick arms, stick legs.
He's a poorly drawn piece of bread.
Right?
He looks like a Don Hertzfeldt cartoon.
He does. But there's a whole section of the Country Hearth website that's dedicated to Loafy and like coloring pages and Loafy's recipes where you literally are eating his family. Anytime they make a mascot of the thing that you're eating, so like Famous Dave's, right? It's a pig. You're going and like being like, hope you enjoy eating my family. Buck, buck, buck. Well, pigs don't go buck, buck, buck. Pigs go wink, wink, wink.
It looks like when they unveiled the raccoon last year, they did like have a vote for a name for it. I'm trying to find what the final name was.
Of the raccoon for downtown Fargo?
Yeah, and they said they wanted an urban forager.
An urban forager?
That's what it said. And like the AI result I'm getting is saying that there's still options that haven't been picked yet. But voting has ended. So Reggie, Rascal, Scrappy, Roscoe, and Egbert, named after Fargo's first mayor, Captain George Egbert, were the finalists. So we don't actually have an answer to this.
That is, I don't mean to be a downtown or a
Downtown downer,
but like that's dumb, right?
Yeah.
Like that is dumb.
Hey, speaking of,
like here's the picture of him with his corn dog, thinking he's better than you, walking around. He's like, "Oh, you drove here? I walked." Be like, we get it, raccoon.
Speaking of video rental stores, from earlier in the conversation, have you seen that PC game where you can manage a video rental store?
I love it.
Have you played it?
No.
Like it's not available on Mac right now, and it's bugging the hell out of me because I feel like that's designed for us. Like we should be playing that. We should be playing that game.
The job replacement games that have come out where you get to manage a video store, right? The one where you get to power wash an AT-AT or the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Glorious. There's one that everyone was talking about that they love. And I think didn't we talk about this on a previous pod where you clean up from like crime scenes?
Yeah.
So like you work for the mafia and you go and you have to clean up the blood so that the hitman won't get that. Like so it's a game where instead of cleaning your own house, you clean somebody else's house in the game. We may have gone too far with the video games. Now, I was listening to you just ooze praise for a game called Valheim. And
that's my game.
Inside the game, someone built a replica of the Titanic.
It's one of those games that you can sandbox and build stuff, right? So there's a part of it that if you want to just go be creative, you can. And yes, someone's dad got a hold of the game and built a 1x1 replica of the Titanic, apparently, in it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I haven't seen, I don't know what kind of materials he was using in there, but Valheim is sort of like, if you think about Minecraft, but not made of blocks, it's more actual proportions. It procedurally generates the land that you walk through, and they released it on beta, in beta, during COVID. And so I used to play that with Ree and Rezel, and then they would, like, every 6 or 9 months, they would release an update to it, and they would expand it, and they're finally in 2026 in September releasing the last expansion, which will then be game 1.0, and it'll no longer be in beta anymore.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, but it is a ton of fun, and it's one of those games where yes, you can go in and you can go fight monsters, go do quests or whatever you need to do, or if you just feel like farming that day, if you just feel like cooking some food for your guy, or if you feel like building a thing, do that instead. And so I do a lot of that. Me and Rezel and Ree have a private server that the three of us just use, and I'm the one on there the most, and it's usually in the evening before bed where I'm just like, I just need to not think about anything for a while, and so I'll go in there, I'll just chop down trees. Pretty nice.
Just it gives you a little something.
Gives you something.
You ever chop down a tree in real life?
No.
I'd like you to try that sometime. I'd like to just see what it's like for you to chop down a tree. In fact, I'd like to make a mini documentary about it. And it's called If a Tree Falls in the Forest. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. And then I said to him, if you tell me one more time to put my pants back on, I'm going to freak out.